what's the first thing that came up that you guys were like, oh, this is going to be tough?
Nobody knows who we are. How do we get Freedom Force into, people's living rooms?
So a big shout out would be to our friends, our personal friends, because they're huge supporters. I still have friends now that are still on our services because they're supporting us. And if it wasn't for them to help us start off.
I remember my dentist was so adamant to be our customer number one. And he was like, I go, all right, well, we'll get you signed up as soon as we're good to go. He's like, no, you don't understand. I need to be the number one in the system.
He's like, all right, I am an American. I will be the first of your customers.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Bug Bucks Podcast, a podcast designed to help you become a bug money millionaire. Today's episode is brought to you by Bug Bucks Plus, the #1 course designed to help you start and grow your pest control company. I'm your host, Eric Bassett, and of course, I've got my co-host, Jake Klaus, with me. What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going, Eric?
Doing pretty good. I feel like I barely got to see the start of spring right around the corner, and I'm so excited for it, dude.
Yeah. We had 2 warm days over the weekend, and my kids were like, yay, spring is here. And I was like, no, suckers, it's not. That's fake spring.
Yeah, this is like one of 3 fake springs we're going to have, so that's all good.
Yep.
So today, we actually have 2 awesome guests that you guys listening are going to love. But before we bring them on, of course, just want to remind everybody listening, the best way to receive new episodes is by subscribing to our show on your preferred podcast platform like Apple, Google, Audible, or Spotify. If you love the show, please leave us a rating and a review. And one last reminder, if you haven't joined our Facebook group, go to Bug Bucks, that is BUGBUX. We've got over 3,900 other pest control owners in that group waiting to connect with you and share their thoughts. That's also the best way for you to share your feedback on our show and have your questions highlighted and discussed here on the podcast. So make sure you find us on Facebook and join the group. Today, I am excited to introduce Jerry Wickwire and Josh Tonn, who are the co-owners of Freedom Force Pest Control. Man, that sounds so awesome.
Dude, I love it.
They have both been in the pest control industry since 2012. Jerry and Josh started their own pest control company in June of 2021 and have never looked back. Jerry, Josh, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Hey, guys.
Doing well.
Doing good.
You called us awesome, so now we have to live up to that word.
Yeah, no pressure. Now that we're live and we're recording, you guys have to be awesome. So
okay, well,
appreciate that.
No pressure.
Just pretend to be. You'll be all right.
All right, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I have a feeling you guys are natural, so it's all good. Don't worry. All right, I gotta ask. You guys have been in the industry since 2012. I want to know the story. I've got tons of questions already, but give us the synopsis. From 2012 till now, how'd you guys get started in the industry? How'd you meet each other? And what's your story been like from 2012 till now?
Well, I don't know. Do you want to start off on that or do you want me to?
I mean, we started the same year. We're from out of Buffalo, New York. So we're awesome. We're in that region, Western New York area. There was a big local company out here that no longer exists called Buffalo Exterminating. That's where we both started. We both were basically at that time looking for a career and both kind of fell into it and kind of became close friends at that point. It was originally seasonal. Jerry got picked up right away. I was seasonal for a couple seasons before I was officially brought on like full time as they were building branches. And then eventually it got bought out by one of those big international pest control companies. But
that shall remain nameless.
Yes.
We stayed there and made the best of it. Became supervisors. Did a lot of the training and just in general just kept doing what we had to do. But kind of more and more of their giant corporate policies kept getting involved, and we got to a point where we were pretty broke one summer, not monetarily, but spiritually. And it was Jerry's genius idea to wait until I was particularly broken, crying into a sub. And he goes, we should do it for ourselves. And that's pretty much it.
So Josh is a very big company man, or he was.
I was very loyal. Yeah.
And in my head, I wanted to do something that I love to do for myself. And, Josh has been there for me thick and thin. I left for 1.5 years and I went to a food and safety pest control company that traveled for a bit. And he always was like, dude, we need you back. And I knew he wasn't the happiest at that company, but at the same point, he wanted me back because we worked so well and communicate well together. So, it's been great. It's been great working with him. It's great that he's my business partner, and I couldn't ask for anything better. If they're not your best friend, if you can't work with them, I can work with him. He's like my brother, so.
He's also the godfather to my son.
Yeah.
So, there's some familial.
Oh, nice.
Relation there.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Is that a big thing? Let me throw it in there. So Eric and I, we're from the West Coast, Idaho, Washington. Mm-hmm. I don't really know. Eric, can you think of anybody here that is a godfather or has a godfather? Is that a normal thing there in New York?
Maybe it is. I guess. I know my wife is, I guess she's more Catholic than anything, and that's kind of more in keeping. I know we have friends who are Lutheran as well. I mean, none of us are particularly, overly religious or anything like that. But it was, we do. It was an option, and that we were trying to think, okay, who should our godparents be? And I was like, well, he's got to have an Uncle Jerry. So, this guy.
I love it. You look like a fun guy.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, so I'm going to ask the question. I got to ask the question. Okay, so when Eric said, "Hey, we're interviewing Freedom Force on the podcast," my first thought was, "Wow, Freedom Force! That sounds awesome." Okay, so Freedom Force is a real kick-ass name. Like, what's the story behind it?
Oh man, we were sitting down in our work vehicles at a large account, side by side with the windows down. And we already had, we were working for our company, but we were also planning on doing everything the right way with quitting and just leaving and doing everything, skeeting out of there. Well, we were sitting talking, throwing names out, and man, we came up with all sorts of different names. And Josh was like, what about Freedom? And then he brought in Force, right? And he kind of caked it in together. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, well, we had a few different starts and stops. I told him, it was funny because when he brings it up to me that, hey, we should do this tour, again, I never thought really ever going out on my own. Yeah. And I go, well, if we're going to do this, I want to have a badass name. So
yeah, oh yeah.
I'm a big comic book geek. I always have been. And I was like, we got to have, of course, the whole superhero stuff, I was like, all right, what can we come up with? And it was kind of also in conjunction with, I always liked, like for World War II in Vietnam, like the platoons would always have a really cool patch, and it would be like an animal dropping a bomb on something. And one of our logos is a bald eagle swooping down on a rat. And so we kind of took like the red, white, and blue motif, and Freedom Force kind of came out. I didn't love it. Jerry loved it immediately. I was like, I don't know, it seems like a mouthful. Because we had tried a couple others. I really loved Rock and Roll Pest Control. I thought that just sounded awesome. Nice. But it exists.
For sure.
I Googled everything that I kept coming up with. I'm like, okay. But it ended up kind of sticking, and the rest is history there. But it's a little trial and error on the Freedom Force.
We came up. It was pretty fun trying to come up with it.
Yeah.
He also draws a lot. He's a good drawer. So he did our logo. And stuff on that too. I'm just
wait. I gotta ask a question. Have you made Freedom Force Pest Control T-shirts with that bald eagle swooping down on the rat?
No,
not official T-shirts. What we did do,
you guys are missing out.
You got to make. Okay, I'm a medium. As soon as Eric's a large, as soon as you make that T-shirt, you got to send it to us. And also, if you don't have Freedom Force, action figures, oh, let's see it.
Oh, they have a mug. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's
You see,
Dude.
see,
We got it a lot, so
that's what's on our trucks.
that's
We
got to be a
originally-
T-shirt.
All right, we'll get working on that. We had to
See,
make
dude.
a mouse pad one time for a customer. He kept wanting merch, and I was like, all right, we'll get him a mouse pad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
if you guys are only focused on pest control and you guys haven't gotten to the merch side of your guys' branding, dude, you guys are missing out.
okay.
Like Freedom Force, that sounds like the name of like a late 80s Saturday morning cartoon
right.
That
that
yeah.
I would wake
Straight
up
up
early
That's
for.
right in my wheelhouse,
Yeah.
right there. That's perfect.
Yeah,
Stars
dude,
and
like,
Stripes underwear. That's what I'm seeing.
Right.
It right
Under
there.
roofs,
You know,
they were called
under
at the
roofs.
so good.
That's right.
I may or may not be wearing them right now. Throwing that out there.
this is so cool.
Oh, I
While we're
love
talking
it.
about your guys' brand, so I'm on your guys' website right now,
Okay.
and this
Yep.
is awesome. So I'm in the part where it says what we offer for you, and these are the different packages. Okay, so there's a bald eagle that's got like the American flag right embossed on it, and the first level is Eagle Eye Rodent Guard. Okay, there's one.
Oh, I love it.
Next one is Liberty Bell Seasonal Home Protection. Epic. Then it goes up to it's Uncle Sam All Year Home Protection.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh. I
And
need
then
that in
and
my
then
house.
if you want one, dude, it's the Uncle Sam like wants you, you know, and it's the ultimate Uncle Sam Premium Home Protection.
That's
Oh
the
my
top,
gosh.
That's the
the
top
big one.
notch.
Yeah, that's the big one.
You must be slaying it.
We're doing
It,
well.
it feels
Yeah.
un-American to choose a different pest control company other than you guys.
Yeah.
That's what you've done here.
Your slogan should be don't be a commie, choose Freedom Force Pest Control.
Yes.
Well, our official motto, our official slogan is your friendly neighborhood exterminators.
Yep.
Of course, because
Oh.
we're comic geeks.
Obviously.
So,
Right. Yeah, the
um,
Spider-Man reference there. Yeah.
Dude.
But I feel like it should a portion of whatever company you do or whatever industry. I think branding is important. I think that that's a lot of folks will do. The platinum plan, the gold plan. That's okay, but it's not a lot of pizzazz, and that's what we like.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Well,
when
it
you
stands
guys first
out for
started,
sure.
Yeah,
Thank
you guys are freaking killing it. I love
Yeah.
the brand.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously you guys were saying that it took you guys just a little bit to kind of get things dialed in branding wise, but from the date that you guys kind of finalized the brand and really started moving, what was your first challenge? You guys make this pest control company, you get out of the whole corporate world, you sit down together. What's the first thing that came up that you guys were like, oh, this is going to be tough?
So for me, and you might have it differently, was advertising, trying to get her name out there. That was it's not.
That would probably be the first biggest hurdle. Yeah,
That was tough.
because getting supplies, we been doing it long enough at that point that we knew the ins and outs of doing the actual work, what equipment we would need to get, that type of thing. But and then getting trucks was not as big a hurdle, but still we needed to have effectively those mobile offices that pest control trucks are. But then it really was okay. Well, nobody knows who we are, so now it's how do we get Freedom Force into people's living rooms, so to speak. That was probably the biggest challenge.
So a big shout out would be to our friends, our personal friends, because they're huge supporters. When we first started, they're signing up on services. I still have friends now, and so does Josh, that are still on our services because they're supporting us. And if it wasn't for them to help us start off,
I remember because we would be talking about. I remember my dentist was so adamant to be our customer number one, and he was like, "I go, all right, well, we'll get you signed up as soon as we're good to go." He's like, "No, you don't understand. I need to be
I remember that.
the number one in the system." It's like,
He's like,
all right, Doc.
I am an American. I will be the first of your customers.
Yeah. Yep.
It's gonna, he's his dentist, so might lose a tooth. I don't know.
Yep.
I love it. Man, that's
Dude,
awesome.
that's so good.
I would
What's
say
your,
that the other thing that helped. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say the other thing that helped us out initially, and I know this gets brought up by folks in our industry and other type contractors and that vendors of that nature. Angie or Home Advisor. A lot of people will say, oh, it's a waste of time, waste of money. We tried it. Of course, as soon as you start, you're getting inundated with phone calls from all these people trying to sell you something. So,
Right.
we're wading through all that as they're coming in. But we thought, okay, well, we talked to the person that was kind of setting it up for us. We gave it a shot. And for that first year, it was really, really helpful. We were actually able to there's a little bit of a game to play with Angie Home Advisor. The way it's set, and you really have to call right away when a lead comes in. I think a lot of folks don't realize how much control you have over lead volume, over what areas you covered, that type of thing. There still was, issues because it's set up where the homeowner comes at you with their problem. We are not designed for nuisance wildlife. We're not licensed for that. We don't handle that particular side of things. We would have folks that would send us a lead for rodents, and I have a possum in my garage. It's like,
or
okay,
skunk,
yes,
or a raccoon.
So then you have to try to get your lead credited back to you. So there's a little bit of a game there, but everybody at Angie was great to work with. But that was a big help our first year. Kind of after our first year and a half, when we were into our second summer, we kind of were, enough word of mouth had been going on for us locally that we were kind of naturally were growing and gaining phone calls, and we didn't really need them anymore. So, but that was big to start, at least for our experience, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And that really got the ground running for us too, because like I said, it was hard to try to get our names out there. We did have support with our friends and everything. We made mistakes in certain marketing techniques that we shouldn't have done that we've learned from, and still paying for right now until the end of the year.
Yeah.
We're not going to get too into detail with that, but the biggest thing I would say for marketing is online stuff.
Huge.
Facebook, like just advertising, getting stuff shared out there, because especially if you got a lot of friends, which we do, a lot of big supporters, you got clients that are starting to really like it, they're going to share it, and it gets out there, and boom, Google starts to light up. We're very humble people. We're not like, hey, you got to give us a 5-star. Sometimes instead of a tip, we'll be like, you don't gotta give us a tip, but if you wanted to give us a 5-star, that would be awesome. So
yes,
a little schmoozing, that helps.
Oh,
do you guys post? Do you guys post on social media regularly? Like, is that do you work that into your marketing plan? It's something you do consciously and with intention?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we got to get a little bit better on it. Josh's wife is also, she's going to be our head of human resources, but she's doing dispatching right now.
She's part-time with us. She does a lot of our back-end stuff, bookkeeping, helps us with like the DC logs and all that fun stuff.
But she also will always come up with really cool ideas for marketing and stuff on Facebook.
Running ads on Facebook, like unofficial ads, that type of thing. We do try to, it's tough during the winter. We probably should do it more in the winter. It's a little tough to get around to it. But anytime we see something cool in the field, we try to get a cool video, maybe talk about it a little bit, or just take pictures of something. I'm already a bug nerd. I mean, I bet a lot of us probably are. But, like last summer, I remember there was like a katydid on a customer's fence. And I was like, oh, can I take a picture of this for the Facebook? They're like, oh, sure. Little things like that. Jerry just kind of got our TikTok going.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's
all right.
slowly but
So social media, it's a huge help. You have to embrace it to some degree, I imagine.
Well, and I love that your wife, Josh, is getting involved, and she's involved in the company, and she's playing a role. When Jana and I started the Natura Pest Control 10 years ago, my thought at the beginning, and I'm embarrassed to admit this now, but like at the beginning, my thought was, oh, well, I don't want you to have anything to do with the business. And like I said, like, this is embarrassing for me to say, but what I found out almost right off the bat was that my wife had a whole huge range of a skill set that has proven over the past decade to be absolutely invaluable to the growth and the development and the expansion of our business. And right now it's like, if you ask me, what does Jana do in the business? She does freaking everything. Like she is such an integral part of the business. So do you see your wife having like a huge role, or kind of playing more like a support role for you guys? Like, how do you see that? How do you see that shaping up?
Well, it's a good question. I guess what I have to kind of preface that with is just, for us, Jerry and I personally, we've only seen this, we've always kind of set like the 5-year goal. Like when we started this, we're like, we kind of call it hustle mode, where it's like, let's just hustle, let's do what we got to do, sell, get our names out there, kind of get out there in our communities, that type of thing. At least for that first 5 years, and see where we're at. Bringing on, my wife's name's Megan. Bringing Megan on was always kind of part of the plan. It was always going to be a part-time thing because we do have we have a 2.5-year-old at home. Which she, we need help with on that. So, I mean, she's not going anywhere. I mean, she's a big part of helping us out.
Hopefully not, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. Valentine's Day is coming up. I love you.
Yep.
So the big thing is, it was such a huge help for us because for about the first probably year and a half, I was kind of doing a lot of the back end stuff to keep us rolling. And eventually, you start getting the question, okay, we got a customer question, we got things that we need to move this around. It's now so much easier. We have almost like that support staff. At least we have the phone call we can make. She can look at stuff and help us out while we're in the field. So that's been a big thing. Kind of where we go from where we're at now, I guess it's really just time will tell in terms of, the busier we get, I mean, we're going to have to expand, of course.
So what I predict with Megan is she's going to be, we're all going to be growing kind of as a unit.
Yeah.
But she already brought so much different things to the table. We do contests. We do all this cool stuff. It's just going to get bigger. I mean, the thing, and that's the thing with Josh and I selling and doing what we're doing and getting out there and working late hours. He's working every Saturday. I'm working till 7, 8 o'clock at night, until I can't spray anymore. And then you got Megan doing all this extra stuff. We're literally a Swiss Army knife, all three of us, with different tools. So, and I just see her getting better and better, and Josh getting better and better, and me just getting better and better. Yeah. Toot my own horn here for a minute. But
you guys should be tuned away, because it sounds like you've got the beginnings of an awesome operation. I mean, and Jake was saying, him and Jana, when they started the brand, like we had no idea that it was going to turn into, the role that Jana has. And my wife had a role in the company for a few years.
Integral, and, key role.
Integral, right? I mean, yeah, she was our office manager for a few years. And it's been wild, like I'm raising my family in it. Jake definitely raised his family in it. He had, 2 little babies already. I should say 2 young sons. And then you had 2 daughters after.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
So Jake's got 4 kids. I've got 2 kids. And our families are just kind of all wrapped up in the business. You know?
Yeah.
And when you have, I mean, I don't have enough fingers or toes to count the number of like family members and friends that we've had come through the business in one capacity or another, CSRs, salesmen, technicians, like friends and family members, all sorts of stuff. And when you have opportunities for your friends and family members, it's so hard not to offer those to them.
Sure.
I mean, they need something, you need someone to work, right? And it's awesome. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who worry about doing business with their spouse, right? Or their brother-in-law or their brother or some sibling or whatever it is. It's fun when we get a chance to talk to people who don't follow that same line of thinking and are creative about it and are excited about it like you guys are, which is awesome. And you guys said that you're busy, you're out selling. I wanted to ask you guys about how you split up your marketing, like how that's currently divided up. You talked about Angie being a good opportunity for you for the first little bit. I think that's really awesome to hear because to use Angie the right way, it has a system, right? You got a process you got to follow. Otherwise it burns you. And a lot of people go into that not understanding how that works, which is why they get burned. So nowadays, how do you guys divide up, like where are your customers coming from? How do you guys divide up those marketing sources?
So Do you want to go?
No, go for it.
Sorry. So Josh came up with a really cool idea. It's simple, right? So when we are writing up our reports for new services, we just write up on top Google or like Angie or RF for referral. And then we take that, and then I believe Josh and Megan tallies that up when they take it back to their house or their office.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you guys are very familiar with Gorilla Desk software. That's what we use. And every time you put in a customer, you have the drop down to where did this customer come from, basically. So
lead source.
I've had to add to the list like truck, because we've had people call and they see the logo and they're like, "Oh, Freedom Force, I got your truck number," and but that's kind of what we touched on earlier. The Google reviews that have kind of been getting built up to this point, of course, everything is Google nowadays. You see some new ice cream stand, you're going to Google it first to see if they're putting flies in the ice cream or not. And like for us, which they we have to drop a card off to them. If those Google reviews are coming in and they're good, clearly that we're only getting those because we're doing our job the right way. But that has helped out tremendously. I mean, we've been able to track that now going into our third year, where usually the bulk of the folks that get a hold of us, they say, "Oh, well, we Googled and we saw your reviews and we gave you a call." Like, that's been free advertising right there.
Yeah, what's great about Google is the comments. Everyone has a story. And if you get a customer that's really happy with you, they'll type down exactly what you did, and with enthusiasm, be like, they'll tell the whole story. I had one where I had a guy, he had Instacart, and he had a rat go in his bag, and it was on his porch, and he brought it inside, brought the rat inside. And he talked about the whole thing, and then I had other people like, "Hey, I heard you're the rat guy. I read your story. I need you. I need you or Josh."
Yep.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The comments for Google really helps out too.
Okay, that's I got a question. So like I said, we're on complete opposite sides of the country, and I think this is just so much fun to sit down and chat with you two, because the pest control world is a very vast and wide and diverse place, and we've got a business partner here in Bug Bucks. Actually, two business partners in Bug Bucks live in Arizona. One of our partners owns a company that has 10 branches nationwide, and one of those is in Arizona. Up here in the Northwest, we have never seen a scorpion, not that I can recall, and we don't deal with them. We don't deal with tarantulas. We just don't deal with some things. Rats are a big thing for us here in the Northwest. So we've got our things that we deal with, but you in Buffalo, and if I'm correct, that's like upstate New York, right? Or is it like central New York? Okay.
No, it's upstate, but everything's upstate if you use New York City as the reference.
Okay.
When you live in this area, it's referred to as Western New York.
Yeah.
We're right up against Lake Erie and Lake Ontario.
Okay.
Where the Buffalo Bills play, that's our backyard. Are the Buffalo Bills? So.
Oh, okay. All right. So what would you say? What are the big pests? Like, what's your thing? What do you see out there? What are you battling? I mean, you said the rat in the Instacart bag, and I just got to know.
Rats.
What do you see?
Josh and I are the rat slayers. We enjoy it. In our area, we love it. It's our thing.
Rat slayers.
It's detective work like Batman. You're doing a lot of detective work, figuring out issues, and I enjoy. I think rats. Him and I are very good at rats. We're also pretty good at German cockroaches too.
German roaches are big. Of course, bed bugs are probably everywhere. Yeah. So you always got to deal with that. We deal with voles quite a bit up here.
Hold on a second.
That's a big one.
This guy is really good at moles.
Moles are
a
particular fun thing for me. Yes,
He's very good at it.
I like doing mole work.
Which mole is that? Is that the Townsend mole? Do you guys have the Townsend mole up there? Is that the mole that you see, or is you?
Star nose is mostly
star nose. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
That's our guy.
They make a mess too. Like it gets pretty crazy.
Yeah, those are fun. But I see more mole damage driving around than I have people call us about that. But it's common enough. But I mean, certainly rats. Like I said, voles are huge for us. Of course, yellow jackets. I mean, we have our yellow jacket season. Buffalo is kind of known, I imagine, nationally as the snow capital of the world, which isn't accurate. We usually don't get snow until like January now, so everything is still humming along pretty good. I mean, yellow jackets around our neck of the woods are over with at that first frost. I imagine, I don't know exactly how your guys' climates are, but that can be by Halloween, so we're still dealing with that for quite a while.
Similar with us up here. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Rodents are year round, of course, and we got lots of fun areas where the rats are pretty prevalent. So it's fun.
Have you done any training with Bobby Corrigan, or have you worked with him at all or follow him?
So I have his book, the rodent control, his hardcover book that he wrote. You grabbing it right now? Yep, that's the one.
This one? Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
I actually had him sign it because I went to a conference where he was one of the presenters. Once upon a time, did you get it signed too?
There it is, right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
It's supposed to happen, guys.
Yep.
Love it.
I had a situation once upon a time for a while at the previous company. I was kind of responsible for the zoo in our area, and I just happened to catch a very odd rat that never once gnawed its incisors, and they were like curling around both sides. I have a picture of it that we should upload at some point, but I took a picture of it and showed it because I was like, well, I'm going to see the rat guy, so I got to ask about it. And he said he'd never seen anything like that before, so I felt pretty good about myself that
you stumped Bobby.
Well, the particular population that came from was a lot of inbreeding, so it was odd, selective. What was going on in there. So
yeah,
I think that's how that you've gotten to the point in your career where you're really a nerdy bug dude. Is when you're like, man, I feel like I just found the worst inbred rat.
Yeah.
Because of these reasons, and I'm like so excited to tell somebody about it.
Yeah.
Right. This is going to be the best. And you get home and you're like, babe, listen, you got to hear this story today. This is the thing that I found. Right. And she's like, oh my gosh, don't ever tell me a story again.
She's a saint for dealing with me. I know, Jerry, didn't you have a mouse go through the wash at one point there?
Yeah, here we are. I'm supposed to be professional here. Yeah, so I actually had a couple incidents. It was my ex-wife back in the day. I had... Hence, ex-wife.
Yeah.
That made sense.
Maybe this helped.
Yeah. It sounds like a sensitive topic.
I picked up the mouse. It was a deer mouse, and I turned my glove inside out and stuck it in my pocket because I was in the crawl space. Well, I put it in the washing machine, and I heard a huge yell from upstairs, and it was just floating in the washing machine. Came out of my pocket.
Gosh.
So, I've also done it with the American cockroach, too.
Well done.
My mom found that one.
You got to go for that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's my thing.
Okay, so I know we're short on time. I got just a couple last questions for you guys. June of 2021 is when you guys started. You're coming up here on your third anniversary in June of 2024, right?
Yep.
So, in your guys' operation right now, what's the thing at the top of your list for Freedom Force?
Well, we want to get new trucks, which
That's
we're
our
going to
first
be
thing.
doing.
We started with used work trucks, nicer, but they were already kind of on their way to getting rusted out on the bottom. Again, Buffalo, lots of salt on the roads during the winter. So that's probably our mini goal is to new trucks hopefully this year.
Yeah. I think more or less our goal is just to keep on making money and making our customers happy.
Yeah, keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Love it. Oh, you guys are awesome. Well, and we'll make sure that we get you guys back in for another episode because I feel like there's probably a lot more stories here that I would love to.
We have a lot of those.
This is a pleasure.
It would be so good. So, Jerry, Josh, you guys have been awesome. Love having you guys on the show. And for everyone else, of course, we appreciate you guys taking the time to listen in. If you have a coworker, manager, or an owner who you guys would feel would benefit from listening to this episode, the best way to say thank you to us is to share this episode with them. And of course, this episode is brought to you by BugBucks Plus, the #1 course designed to help you start and grow your pest control company. If you haven't joined the Facebook group yet, go find the group and join. It's Bug Bucks, BUGBUX. Lots of information and great connections in that group. Thanks again for listening in, and until next time, keep building those pest control companies.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please show your support by subscribing and leaving us a 5-star rating. Thank you, and we'll catch you on next week's episode.